We do have the management of Signature Global with us today. They saw strong sales growth in the fourth quarter. Pre-sales grew over 240%, volumes over 111% as well. Rajat Kathuria, who's the CEO, joins in now. Rajat, thank you for joining in. And I mean, it's not a big surprise, this jump, because you had earlier, made the street aware of the fact that there was one new launch in the fourth quarter, and as a result of which, you were likely to do a minimum of 3,600 crores in pre-sales in the fourth quarter, and upped your FY24 guidance from 4,500 crores to a little over 7,000 crores as well. The question is, the fourth quarter, how much of the increase was largely due to the new launch, and as a result of which, what's the expectation for FY25?
Yeah, hi Mangalam. Thanks a lot for calling us to your show. We were anticipating a very strong response on this launch because we saw that sort of demand coming from the market. The market continues to stay supply constrained, and that's why this was quite a awaited launch from the market. So we have achieved almost 7,300 odd crores for the last fiscal year. If you look at the last 3 to 4 years, between FY21 to 24, our sales CAGR has crossed almost 60%. So it's been a very consistent updrive in the pre-sales numbers. We will be very comfortable giving another 25 to 30% sales growth for the coming fiscal year from these levels.
Okay, all right. Well, Rajat, good on you. I recall that interview when you said more than 7,000 crores is gettable, and you've delivered 7,300. You're saying on that base, 25% plus is doable. Good going on that front. Well, you also said, that the net debt could increase due to land acquisition. Could you tell us what is the updated debt number, and by how much does it go up?
So, if you look at it on a YOY basis, our debt numbers net debt numbers up about 100 odd crores. It stands at close to about 1,100 odd crores as of 31st March 2024. But what has really happened during the year is that we've acquired almost 15 to 16 million square foot of area in land, developable space on the southern peripheral road in Gurugram. This is a very prime region, and the GMV potential of this land would be anywhere between 25 to 30,000 crores. Despite all this acquisition which has happened and which will propel our growth in multiple years, going forward, our debt has remained static. Needless to say that a lot of free operating surplus and the proceeds which we generated from public listing went into acquisition by and large during the current financial year.
Okay, so 1,100 crores is a ballpark number in terms of debt, right?
1,100 odd crores is the ballpark.
And the first half of the year, you spent around 300 crores on land acquisition. For the second half, how much did you spend?
Those exact numbers are being worked out, but yes, I think it would be significantly higher.
What is significantly higher? I mean, would it be closer to 1,000 crores? Would it be 500 crores? Just trying to understand. You said that...
That will probably cross 1,000 crores, is what I can say.
Much more than 1,000 crores, or will it be between 1,000 and 1,500?
It will be between 1,000 and 1,500.
All right, we'll take 1,250 as the number then for a ballpark calculation. I mean, if you could give us a sense of the launch pipeline in FY25. I mean, did something move from FY24, get delayed into FY25? What's the kind of launch pipeline that you have?
So launch pipeline is very robust for the current financial year. We plan to come up with launches on a consistent basis. The first launch is going to be in Sector 71, a group housing project. You could say a little bigger than the previous project, which we launched in Sector 37D, which was on the Dwarka Expressway. Overall, during the year, I think there are a few launches which are planned, and they should comfortably have a potential in excess of 15,000 odd crores. So I could say that we'll be consistently launching projects through this current financial year.
Okay, the stock market as well as your customers will be wondering, what is Rajat going to do on pricing? Price increases have been quite steep, right? But as you're saying, demand is quite strong. Where do prices head from here? Is there further headroom?
As an industry and not as Signature, if I speak, the market is still not getting as much supply as it should. That's one factor which could potentially drive up prices. If you ask us, as a company, we will prefer only an inflationary linked sort of an increase and not like a steep rise. But my expectation is that prices are still on the up.
Prices are still on the up. In fact, they've gone up by 45 to 50% over the last 2 years. How much higher can they go from here, according to you?
See, a couple of factors. You can't look at prices in isolation. There's a lot of infrastructure development which has happened, in Gurugram specifically. So earlier, last month, the Prime Minister finally, flagged off the Dwarka Expressway. That's a massive and that's a very marquee sort of, infrastructure development which has happened. Likewise, we saw Sona elevated corridor happening last year, and the Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor starting right from, the point where, Sona begins. So there's been, a lot of infrastructure upgrade in which the city has seen. And prices, if you look at it on a, not on the last 2-year basis, but on a last decade basis, you'll not see that the prices have really gone up beyond an inflation number. But it's just that, last 7-8 years between 2012 to about, the pandemic time, there was literally zero movement on price. And it has happened just for the last 2 years that, the sense is that prices have really run up. But I think it's prudent to see it on a more long-term historical basis.
You said that you acquired 15 to 16 million square feet developable area in the southern part of Gurugram, which could give you a GMV of close to 25 to 30,000 crores. Roughly, that, basis your numbers, some calculations suggest that it could give you realizations of almost 25,000 per square feet. Would that be a fair assessment, or do you think it grows beyond that as well?
I am in these computations. No, I'm assuming pricing of anywhere between 16 to 17,000 rupees a square foot. But yes, I think that market currently is trading higher. So we are giving numbers basis like a very achievable price without considering escalations, over times to come.
Okay, your average sales number, I think for the past year was around 12,000 rupees, right?
Last September, we would have given a guidance of about 14,000 odd rupees a foot, which I'm currently counting it to be around 16,000 rupees a foot. So it's 10-12% higher than what we would have assumed 6 months ago.
And quarterly, your pre-sales could jump structurally higher to say 1,500-1,600 crores over the 1,100-1,200 crores that you would do earlier?
No, I think pre-sales will see a jump over the coming quarters because with these new launches, the launch sizes are quite quite significant. So we expect good pre-sales on a quarterly basis during this particular financial year.
Over 2,000 crores
Last
is
year,
possible.
for the first 3 quarters, we were largely selling the inventory which was launched in the previous years. And last quarter, we launched a new project and hence saw a surge in pre-sales. Vis-a-vis that, in the current year, we'll be consistently launching new projects, during the initial part of the year. So we will see better, quarterly pre-sales performance.
25 to 30% growth over 7,300 crores would amount to roughly 2,000 to 2,300 crores in quarterly pre-sales as well. So we'll keep that number. Finally, before we let you go, collections have crossed the guided mark. What we need to know is the operational cash flow. Last year, your operating cash flow was down by about 280 crores. This is FY23 that I'm talking about. FY24, what is that number likely to be?
So see, we typically use operating surplus as a benchmark. It's about 35%. So let's say if we've collected 3,100 odd crores, the operating surplus would be between 1,000 to 1,100 odd crores. The final numbers are yet being worked out. But that's like the benchmark which we've seen has played out in the previous years. This operating surplus is before any distribution to the stakeholders or land acquisitions. So just operating surplus is usually around 35% of collections. So it would be around 1,000 to 1,100 odd crores of operating surplus, which we envisage for the current year.
All right, Rajat, wishing you all the best for the coming year. You're sounding fairly optimistic on prospects. Last year has been good. We look forward to chat with you all through this fiscal as well.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Well, for the time.